Hello, good evening, everybody. How you doing today? Hope your week started fine because mine did. So this is the Genius Kids Show. Welcome to the Genius Kids Show on Radio Maria 91.3 FM. Radio Maria Genius Kids Show is the show where we discover ways we can ignite the genius in our child, in our children, because on this show we believe that every child has a genius in him or her. So welcome to today's show. Today we shall be discussing a topic that matters to so many people. Are you a mother of a toddler? Are you a mother of a child? Are you a mother of someone who is active? Or are you a mother who is concerned about their child's activity and whether they are benefiting from that? Then you should be here. Fathers, uncles, aunties, teachers, you should also be here today because we have a very relevant topic for you today. So, a saying often goes, a popular saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. However, in our world today, there seems to be a subconscious subscription to this dullness by many of us parents. I call it subconscious because I don't want to believe that any parents would knowingly lead their child to doom. But it is actually happening. But many of us dim our children's lights by completely extinguishing play or overly structuring play to the point that play lacks its characteristic creativity. So there is so much our children can be beautiful. There are many things we would want them to be excellent. We cannot we want them to be all we couldn't be, and we want them to be all good that we are. This is fantastic. But let us learn to check ourselves every now and then to ensure that in our quest to helping them become all these, we don't make them miss out on their childhood and we don't make them become less of what they could actually become. And this is what prompted us to have this talk today. Today on the Radio Maria topic, or today on the Genius Kids show, we shall be discussing the place of play in child development. The place of play in child development. So we will be discussing play in its entirety. What is play? What are the types of play? What are the benefits of play? Can play be excessive? What can we do if we consider it excessive? How well can we harness the benefits in play to help our children develop well? And I have a very special guest here with me in the studio who would help us answer all these questions we have. And she's none other than Mrs. Joy Agarau. She's an early years teacher and a trained British early years foundation stage and Montessori educationist with experience in childhood education for over 10 years. You see, I'm not joking. When we say we have experienced experts in the house to help us and hold us by the hand and walk us through this parenting journey, it's not a joke. We are not just talking for talking's sake. So she's an advocate of early learning. She's an advocate of learning through play and provides resources, information, and activities that harness child development holistically in the first 6 years of every child's life. She is the CEO of a brand on Instagram. You can find her at Co2 Resources, Coco Resources. So there, I stumbled on that page and I got stuck because I saw so many fascinating things and how you can actually ignite the genius in your child through play. That is why we decided to bring her on this show today, because we want all of our listeners to also benefit from her wealth of knowledge and experience. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be her very beautiful voice. I'd like her to tell you by herself her name and then say hello to you all. Hi, Miss Genny. Okay.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Good
I'm also
evening.
excited to be part of this show. I'm excited also to talk about play and its importance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to having an exciting time on the show this
Yes.
evening. So we'll be going on a short break, but before we do that, again, I remain your beautiful, humble host, Genevieve Duruiheoma. Children, remember you can always call me Miss Genny. And it is my intention and desire that every child through this show benefits and becomes a better version of themselves. But let's not be stingy with what we are gaining. Let us try to share it. And on this note, I call on you to call all your friends, uncles and aunties around, mommies and daddies, tune on the radio to the loudest volume so everybody can hear. Gather everyone, sit still and listen because it's going to be a beneficial topic and discussion this evening. So, right after the break, I'll catch you. For now, let's take a short break. Welcome back, beautiful people. Are you warming up? You should because we are loaded this evening. Like I earlier said, our discussion today is play, play, play. Would like to know from our guests in the studio here what is even play? Let's understand what we are discussing before we go deep into it. What do you understand by play?
Now, as simple as the word play sounds,
Okay.
it's the most crucial and most important part of child development, especially in their very early years.
Wow.
It helps their brain develop, it builds their language and their communication skill. Now, during play, a child is able to develop so many skills, from motor skills to problem solving skills to scientific knowledge skills to investigating, they're exploring. There is so much that the little word play holds. And we cannot take it as lightly as people think it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So play is a serious business.
It's a serious yes, it plays a serious business. It's very
yes.
serious.
Okay. So play is a serious business. Play is if I would try to rephrase what you've said, it's that activity that helps the child discover themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
It helps them to develop themselves physically,
True.
Intellectually,
Yes,
and otherwise
and
in
otherwise,
all
in,
ways.
in
So
all ways, play is holistic.
mm,
When you harness the benefits and everything that play has, it just gives you a wholesome child.
wow.
In every area, you're able to tackle the children physically, socially, emotionally, and at the end of it, what you have is a balanced child, and that is what
And
we
that is
want.
what we
Yes,
want.
that's what we want.
Yes.
We want to have a balanced child that
Mhm.
in the end, when we see them as adults,
Yeah.
they are grown, balanced adults
Mm.
without worries, without fears. A lot of these issues that they would have had in their adult life have been tackled when they're
True
very young.
play.
Yes,
True
through
play.
play.
A friend was saying something and she said that play is a debt you must pay. It is
Okay.
if you don't pay it as a child, you pay it as an adult.
I think
And
so.
those who pay it as an adult, as adults, they now appear foolish because when you should be busy doing something, it just shows you didn't have enough of it during your childhood. So, okay, that's good to know. So, play are those activities we
Yes.
engage in, our children engage in that helps them. Actually, they think it's fun. It's fun for
Yes,
them.
yes.
They enjoy it.
They enjoy
But
it.
in doing that, they're actually gaining
They're
life
gaining-
skills that
yes.
will see them through
Yes,
life.
to
Okay,
adulthood. Yes.
that's good to know. I hope our listeners at home are already noting the benefits of play. So, there are different kinds of play.
Yes.
At least I know
Mhm.
that not all there are different kinds of play.
Yes.
Can you bring us into the world of play? What are the different kinds of play children engage in?
Okay. Now like you said, there are quite a number of them. There are 6 of them that are very crucial to the first 6 years of a child's life, and there are others that are extended even up to when they're adults. So the first type of play is unoccupied play. Now this type of play is from the age 0 to 3 months. When you see toddlers trying to rattle with toys, they are trying to stretch their hand, try to grab on something. It's play. And this time unoccupied because nobody's really paying attention to what exactly the child is doing. And this child can do it by themselves, on their own. They can create that atmosphere of trying to look at something and trying to stretch their hand.
Yes, trying
Trying
to
to grab.
grab the
Thank
hanging
you,
toys in
thank
their
you.
cots.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the first type of play, the unoccupied play.
Okay.
The second type of play is solitary play. And solitary play, like the word solitary, it's an independent play. If you notice children from the ages of 1,
Okay.
yes, all the way till 2, they know how to create play for themselves.
Yeah.
They can play on their own. You can see them try to mumble some things. You're not even sure what they're trying to say, but they're like, they're trying to they take one here and they put it on the other side.
Exactly.
You would notice this in children from 1 to 2 years. They know how to create their own play. They know how to learn by themselves for themselves. So that is solitary play. That's the second stage of play. third type of play is onlooker play. Now, this one can come from the age of 2 to about 3. What children do at this age is they watch others play and they're like, why did he raise his hand up? Why did he fold it? Why is he quiet now? Why did he scream? So they're curious. They just want to observe and be like, okay, what's this person really trying to do? So that is the onlooker kind of play. The children, they just watch and they observe. But the good thing about this particular type of play is this is when their vocabulary starts to come out. That's when it starts developing. So when they raise their hands up, they can be like, oh, that's up. So gradually they're beginning to bring in their language development into play. So as they say up and then you bring it down, they're like down. So now the child is aware that when something is up, it goes high. And when it's down, it is down. They gradually start creating language skills, they start developing vocabularies for speaking. The fourth kind of play is parallel play. Now, this kind of play, children are aged 3 to 4, so they can play close to other children. Now, they play close to other children, but they
not complimenting
each other, not necessarily with the child, not necessarily with the other child. And at this time, they are very possessive. They're like, it's mine. No, it's mine. Give it to me, it's mine. So they are very possessive. They like to play around other children, but they still like their personal space. They still want their personal space. They want to be around.
That's my car.
They want to be around another child.
Okay.
So that's parallel play. So they pay attention to others. They try to mimic the other child's behavior. Oh, the child say water. Oh, mommy, look, he said water. So because from onlooker play, they have started developing language skills. When they get in the parallel play, they can pick what you said. Oh, he said water. What's water? Oh no, it can be funny to them. But every of this thing is play and is a process of your child's development. Yes. Then the fifth kind of play is called associative play. This is when they ask questions, they try to advocate. Oh, can I have that? They begin to learn how to use please and thank you when they're playing, because now they're playing properly alongside their peers. Yes. This from the ages of 4 and 5. Yes, they begin to refer to playtime as a time of creating friendship. They're looking forward to seeing someone else.
Exactly, because just leaving my kids at home this evening, they are outside playing with kids in the neighborhood. So that's the only time they will tell you bye-bye without crying. So mommy, see you later.
Yes, mommy, bye, mommy. When my daughter is at the playground and she is at the playground, she sees another child. She's like, for her, it's like, oh, I found a new friend. Oh, okay, mommy, see you later, bye. And she is so comfortable because she is happy that she's beginning to build friendship. She's beginning to understand relationship. So you can see that when we say play, it is much more than just play. Yes. So there's so many others, but I'll just dwell particularly on the last one I have it, and I'll mention the other ones that thrive as children get into adulthood. That the sixth one is social or cooperative play. This is when children understand the role. They understand the role of playing. They understand that I'm being fair if I let someone else have a turn. If I'm on the swing and I take 5 minutes and I let someone else have it, it's because I understand if I have a turn, the other child should have a turn.
So at what age does this kind of play?
It starts from 5. Sometimes in some kids who have started understanding the prospects of play, you can start as early as 4. Yes, because they can learn to share, they can learn to take turns, they can learn to say please and thank you when they're giving something. From the previous one I talked about, the associative play, they start understanding friendships, they start building relationships.
So they can actually pick up this earlier.
Yes, they can, absolutely. So they learn to share, they learn the need for others to take a turn. This is when they also learn social skills. Yes, so social skills are the ones I talked about. Having the other child take a turn, saying please if I want something, saying thank you when I have it,
apologizing when you hurt someone,
apologizing when you hurt. Good, yes, great one. Okay, so the other ones that extend from the ages of 5 into teenage years and even adulthood are competitive play. That is when sportsmanship happens, when we go out for when schools do inter-house sports, or when we're trying out a race, who comes first? And in competitive play, the child needs to understand, okay, if I lose, doesn't make me a loser. If I lose, it means I can try again. Why? Because they have understood all the other aspects of play. It has been like a train, down the line. They understand that, okay, I take turns, I share, and all of that. So when they get to competitions, they are able to manage emotions. They don't get outbursts and start crying. Oh, because I lost. Sometimes, because they're children, it can happen. But they know how to manage emotions at this age. Yes.
Wow.
Then there is constructive play. Constructive play basically engages the child's cognitive skills, which is building. They stack. If a child is building blocks, these building blocks children used to play. If they're building bricks, they understand that, okay, if I put this one, the tower will still be balanced. If I try to put this one, it might make it shake and fall down. So they are building their brains. They are building their intellectuality, that, okay, I need this piece to create a balance. This piece would not give me a balance. So that's constructive play. And there's dramatic play, where children will play. My daughter likes, the recent one now is that she likes to role play cooking. Oh, mommy, I made dinner. I made food. Mommy, open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
exactly.
no, but I can't eat plastic carrots. I say, no, mommy, open your mouth. So that's dramatic play. Children get to role play. They get to use their imagination to create scenarios. They can watch what happens in the house or what happens at school, and give you the same event that has taken place wheresoever.
That could actually help you know what happens where you are not.
True. Absolutely true.
If you see them spanking their teddy, stop it. Someone actually does this.
Truly. So there's physical play that helps to build fine motor skills. That is also more like competitive play, but not necessarily a competition. It can include running. It can include football, just anything, any physical sports. Yes. Then there's symbolic play, which can include arts, painting, drawing, vocal activities, music, trying to sing or trying to make a song. Yes. So these are the so many types of play.
So I think at this point it is safe to say that play is life.
Absolutely.
Play is the life of a child.
Yes.
Take away play, you have killed that child.
Yes.
So play is life, and I hope our listeners are picking all this. And it's also safe to say that where children are not allowed to explore these different stages of play, it could actually have a negative impact on them later. Like you mentioned, the one of competitive play.
Yes.
If a child was not allowed to associate with others at around age 4, was not allowed to develop the necessary play skills, social skills at age 5, when the child gets to where the child now has to be involved in a competition and the child loses, the child may not know how to manage it better.
True.
Okay. All right. So it's been an interesting conversation so far, and I hope listeners at home are also gaining from it. At this point, we'll be taking a short break. When we return, we would explore further and know whether play I think is a given, because from what Miss Joy has said earlier, we can tell that play helps to develop the brain. But would like her to speak in-depthly on whether play is associated with learning. All right, so we'll be taking a short break at this moment. See you shortly. Welcome back. So far, we have learned that play is life.
Yes.
Play is the life of a child. Let us learn. Let's accept it, because if you don't let them play, you're actually stifling their light. Okay? So, Miss Joy has told us what play is, and she's told us the different kinds of play, with focus on children from ages 0 to 6. She also mentioned play that shoots into adulthood and bigger childhood. So now we'll be looking at how the relationship between play and learning. This is where I know many people are interested.
Yes.
Is play associated with learning?
Yes. Okay. Every learning experience is play for children. Playing is learning.
Playing is learning.
Yes.
Let me note that. Playing is learning.
Children learn through play experiences. It's important to their development, in especially in their early years. It contributes to their cognitive skills, their physical, their social, emotional well-being of a child. It contributes to all of that. So playing is learning. It might not, people don't understand, and they don't look at it that way. But if you look at a typical classroom, right, and especially for children, very young children, the best way that you can pass a message across, I have taught for a long time.
Speaking
I
from
love
experience
to
now.
play, and I love when children learn through play.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way I can really get the children I've taught and the ones that I'm still teaching. That's the only way I'm able to get them in sync with learning. Now, I homeschooled my daughter for quite a while before she joined the traditional school system.
Yes.
Now, I would bring her to a table and tell her, okay, we're going to learn color blue today, and we're going to try to learn color blue.
Yes.
My daughter will call that color yellow, and she will call it red, and she will call it green.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'll be at the mall, and she'll be like, "Oh, mommy, that's blue." And I'm like, "But we sat down. You refused to even say the word."
Wow.
You know. So children learn more when there is fun in it, when they enjoy what they are learning,
and that is what
yes.
play is.
That is what
Activities
play
that
is.
children enjoy.
Yes, absolutely.
And I see a lot of schools are now tilting towards
Yes.
play-based learning these
yes,
days.
Yes,
No longer sits listening.
No longer. In fact, the United Nations, as at 1989, had insisted on the importance of play.
Wow.
Yes, that children should have play in their learning. Play should be infused in a child's learning because it develops them holistically. Yes.
Not just having a break time.
Not just having a break time. Having a break time, yes, absolutely important, but not just having a play time.
Like a fusion.
It should be like a fusion. They should learn in an environment that is enjoyable. When we say play is learning, it means that the environment is enjoyable. They can learn it through rhymes. They can learn it through dancing. They can learn it by claps. I was talking to some children about learning syllables, and guess what? They were 4-year-olds. And I was thinking in my mind, how am I going to teach a 4-year-old syllable?
I'm interested.
Okay, wait and see what happened. So I told them, okay, the word we were going to learn was have. And I was like, okay, have even has one syllable. If it was a word with 2 syllables, it'd be easier. So I said, you know what? We're going to, I was like, what's your name? Okay, tell me your name.
Genevieve.
Genevieve. So we're going to clap at how many sounds we can hear in Genevieve.
That's
so we'll be like, Genevieve.
That's brilliant.
You know, so I was
That's
here
brilliant.
trying to teach a 4-year-old how to understand syllable, and I had to look for the simplest way possible.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, what's your name? And they're like, Joy, and I'm like, Joy.
Just
and they're like,
one.
how many syllables are in that name? They're like, 1.
Joy.
And we kept calling everyone's name until we understood that syllables. Syllable is how many sounds you can hear in a word.
You're genius.
And that was
oh my god.
And that was it. So let's not look at play like it's some intricate rocket science kind of activity, and
or
it should not
thing.
or useless thing. That no, it cannot be a part of learning. Absolutely, play can be part of learning. Play should be part of learning, and children should learn in an environment that welcomes play, that welcomes fun, that infuses learning into this thing, so that they can enjoy it.
This should actually color the mind of a parent in search of a school for their child. So
yes.
this should be part of what determines the school you finally settle for. When you go to a school and it's in the old traditional form, blackboard or whiteboard with chairs, nothing exciting about it.
True.
That should actually raise a red flag for you. That's good to know.
Thank you.
That's good to know.
So that's it about play and
being
being
associated with learning.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's absolutely important that play is alongside learning.
I think you have convinced me that play is with these syllables.
There's so many more. There's so many more.
So you can actually, when there are complex things, look down and see how you can relate it with the child, and then use that play to introduce them to the bigger concepts and the learning.
And it sticks almost forever.
Almost
forever. Probably until these 4-year-olds get to the classes where they're supposed to learn syllables. But at this point, it cannot be such a new thing that is just coming across. Like,
Yes.
okay, I know this, and it should be easy for me
This
to
actually
learn.
brought to mind a similar experience I had with my daughter. I was
Okay.
teaching her the all family words, ALL, words
Okay.
that end with all.
Okay.
I brought out fall, wall, go, more, and all that,
Okay.
and we were learning this. We were trying. She already knew all, and she knew her sound, so I couldn't understand why she wasn't just getting it. To the point that when she now says fall, I'll fall, she will laugh.
Well, see.
So then I now made fall the last on the list. I said,
Okay.
I'm not falling until you read to fall. So
Right.
she will do tall, I'll stand tall.
Okay.
She will say fall, I'll fall on the ground. They will laugh. So with that play,
Yes.
she was able to learn that.
Wow.
And how she learns
Amazing.
it, I do not know.
Amazing.
So I actually love this. And I hope our listeners at home have come to agree. We hope we've been able to convince you and not confuse you that learning is associated with play.
Yes.
Now, the benefits of play. I think we've said a lot already,
Yes,
but
yes.
let's just point them out. What are the
Okay.
benefits of play for children?
Okay. Play helps children develop social skills.
Mm-hmm.
They understand friendships. They understand how to play fair, how to
Yeah.
share, good manners. They learn etiquette. There's so much social skills that you can build from just playing. Okay, we have a glass of water here, and I want one. What's going to happen? If I maybe their siblings. Okay, I can have some and let my other sibling have some of it. So we're
Yeah.
sharing fairly. We're not dragging, saying no, it's mine. No, it's not yours. No, it's mine. They understand that okay, we can actually share this toy together, or let one
Yeah.
person play with it and the other person have a turn. So during play, children learn to treat others the right way. They learn to negotiate. They learn to communicate.
I agree.
Yes. They can say, okay, I will take maybe a few minutes.
Let me play first. Let me ride the bike. When I
Okay.
go round,
When I
and
go
come
round,
back, you
great,
then ride.
great.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's so much benefit when it comes to play. Play actually influences children's academics. I was talking to someone and I was like,
When you say influence, positively or negatively?
positively.
Hello, everyone. Did you see how Maria in Songs of Music used play to influence the children, to teach them the notes of music? She had been teaching do, re, mi, fa, sol, and they weren't learning it. She then devised the means. Do, a deer, a female deer, and they learned it. So the benefits of play are inexhaustible.
Yes.
Deploy them today and thank me tomorrow. Okay? All right, so back to our conversation. Let me remind you the number to call again. The number to call is 081 084 47518. 081 084 47518. Call us and tell us what you think about play in child development. So, as we were saying, can play be too much? Can it be excessive?
That's a tricky question. Okay.
Okay, just
I
hold the
would-
top there a little. I think we have a call. Hello,
Okay.
good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, yes, this is Jenny's Kids.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Ah. Wow.
It
Yes.
is. Yes.
Exactly. Oh, child. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Ah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you so much
you.
for calling in, Carol. This it's so good when we hear from people and know that
Yes.
what we are discussing is actually
Yes.
impacting their
Yes.
lives and making a change.
True.
So we are happy. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please, what's your name? Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Genius Kids Show. Please, what's your name? Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, Grace. Good evening, Miss Grace. Thank you for calling in.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
We're
you.
happy to
Thank
hear
you.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you,
you.
Grace. We are happy to have you too.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. Have a good
Bye.
evening. All right. Okay. It's good to know that what we are talking is useful to people out there.
Yes.
So, can play be too much?
Okay. Like I said earlier, it's a tricky question. Um, play. I would love to say no, but then I would say a no and a yes.
Okay.
I would first of all answer the no. Why I'm saying no, play cannot be too much. Now, if play stimulates learning, stimulates a child's brain, sparks their intelligence,
Yeah.
makes them creative, then no, it cannot be too much.
Hmm.
But the only instance that I think play could, in quotes, be too much is when it's really physical, when it's too physical,
Yeah.
when it's too much running and mommy is trying to say, can you just stop running? You could hurt yourself. And the child is not trying to explore speed. They're not trying to investigate speed. They're not trying to understand the distance between one point and another. Then we can categorize that kind of play as too much. So play has to if play improves communication, like the person who called, the first caller, talking about when her child talks to herself when she's playing with her dolls. You would be shocked that the child is building so much vocabulary.
You'd be
So
wondering
much
where.
language development.
Yeah.
And you would see that when this kind of children go for presentations, they are so confident.
True.
When you give them words, you give them so many words to read out, maybe in a speech or whatsoever, they are very confident to give it out. Why?
Yeah.
Because they've been harnessing their vocabulary skills through play. So play can be and cannot be too much. Play is too much if it's too physical. That's almost the only point I can get across, right now, that I think if play is too physical, if it does not connect with any learning, if it has a lot of hurting, if it has to do with a lot of the child hurting themselves or hurting others, then that kind of play is too much. But if the play stimulates their cognitive skills, helps them to develop their communication, builds their vocabulary, their language development, stimulates creativity in them, ignites problem solving skills, then it can never be too much.
Okay. Riding on the back of what you just said, I
Okay.
also think play can become too much,
Okay.
where it becomes unproductive.
Absolutely.
And the way it can become unproductive is when it is too regulated. This is how you play. Don't do this, do that. So you don't even allow that child to explore, to think, to create. This is how it's done. You have to jump from here to
too
here.
structured.
So it's too structured. The child has no laxity to
their
try
own
out
kind
other
of
things. So that can actually be
too much,
unbeneficial and
absolutely
too much.
Absolutely.
So another way, when a lot of parents think my child plays too much, really what they're saying is my child is playing a lot in a way that does not benefit him.
Yes, it could be.
My child plays too much. Maybe it's time to study and the child is playing, and then it's affecting their schoolwork. How about how about just now thinking maybe this child, like you mentioned, has so much energy. So
Yes.
if you don't let that child exert that energy through the right
Through the right
channels, then that
channels.
child will definitely show it off in other ways.
Yes, yes.
So have you tried giving that child an opportunity to play? And then after that, when they have exhausted themselves, also try some other creative things. I was
Yes.
reading, try some other creative things to help them burn out that
That
energy.
energy.
Teach them, show them how to garden,
Yes.
get them involved in house
Painting,
chores, painting, drawing.
Try washing plates.
Yeah, crafts
My
and
2-year-old
art.
has tried it. Mommy,
Wow.
Mommy, I want to help you wash the dishes.
Wow.
And she will get a chair and bring it close to the sink and try washing dishes. Even though I know that my kitchen is going to be a huge mess.
Huge mess.
But I let her exert that energy of trying to clean up, trying to be
Yeah.
responsible for something. I just let her do it. So I think another thing is parents need to understand what type of play. Sometimes when we scream, "Oh, you play too much, you play too much," do you actually understand the kind of play? Apart from the ones that are physical, do you understand the kind of play? Half of the times, maybe the parent walks in and the child's room is in a mess because they brought down all the toys, they've done this, they've done that. Okay, what were you trying to do?
Yeah.
We should learn to ask very open-ended questions. What were you trying to do? Why did you mess up your clothes? But it doesn't look nice when you mess it up. So what is the better way you think we can do it? We should try to be very positive. Still,
Yeah.
when sometimes it gets to us, trust me, I as a mother, I know the time where you're just like, I just want you to do it the right way. A 10-year-old, first of all, a 10-year-old is old enough to understand boundaries. He's old enough to understand rules. And if you set the rule that, okay, when you come back from school, you're going to take 10 minutes to freshen up and probably have lunch or dinner or whatever, then after these 10 minutes, you will do your homework. After your homework, you're allowed 20 minutes to play a game or whatsoever.
Yeah.
For a 10-year-old, play can be structured because we understand that they are gradually delving into more challenging academic activities, that too much play, in quotes, might not be very healthy for their academics. So I think what you can do, Miss Grace, is to give him a time structure. They understand time. They understand that there is time for everything, and that this is the time where I should do this and I should not do this. So I think a lot of structure around him would work. Let him understand that the first thing you come in to do, and when he does, please reward him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Acknowledge it. See
Acknowledge
it.
it.
Not say
Acknowledge that, oh yes, today you see, I really like the way you did this. You did this today. You came back home, you took out your bag, you took out your homework. After lunch, you finished your homework, then you went out to
make
play.
Me talk.
You didn't make me talk. So when he actually does it right, applaud his effort, encourage him. It will help him do even more, in subsequent days to come. So try to structure his routine. Give him a routine.
That is, a few weeks ago we talked about routine.
Okay.
And on this show, and the parents called in and said that his son's routine is play. That he was literally tired. How could he help this child? Okay, I said lessen your expectations.
Yes.
Just begin. This child likes play and has been exposed to boundless play. Okay, how about we reduce the 2 hours of play to 1 hour 30 minutes? And then the coming week you reduce it to an hour. That's where you are introducing him to, you're gradually leading him to where you want him to be.
You don't cut it off immediately.
Don't cut it off immediately. Don't cut it off immediately. So this is where a routine comes in.
Yes.
Have a routine. What is our after school routine?
Yes.
You do this from here, from this time to this time, and there should be clear rules and consequences for breaking those rules. So
he would even come up with the consequences.
He doesn't do that homework, then he doesn't get to play.
Yes.
Or the day he doesn't do this, he doesn't get to have his favorite activity.
True.
So that way that child will more likely comply.
Have it so structured that he writes it down. He puts it somewhere in his room. That at 4 p.m. when I come home, I do my homework for 15 minutes. I get to have lunch. Then I go out to play for so and so time. They are old enough to tell the time. They are old enough to understand routine. They are old enough to understand structure. As you do this at this age, trust me, he would enjoy the better part of it into his future.
There is another thing that Grace's question just brought to mind.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let's drop our number again for those who would want to call in. The number to call is 081 084 47518. Call in and ask us your questions because we are we have somebody ready and able to answer your questions. So when it play when play becomes unchallenging for a child,
Okay.
that could also, you see, some children do not really want something they can't do.
Okay.
I recall when I introduced my girl to riding a bike. She didn't like it because she
Okay.
couldn't do it.
Okay.
She would rather just leave it and then run about, play. But I was like, no, this is the time for us to learn to ride a bike. So I began in the evenings. I'll go out with her and then we'll try. And now she has learned it. It's now the most fun thing to do.
Okay.
What am I trying to say? You can make play more challenging.
Yes.
When you think that they are overdoing a thing, that means they have passed that
They have
level.
passed it.
Find
They
something
passed it.
more challenging for
Yes.
them in order to keep on harnessing the benefits of play.
Okay.
Because if you
Yes.
just leave them at that level where it's so easy for them,
Yes.
they wouldn't progress,
Mhm.
and it will become a nuisance to you.
That's true.
So let's learn to make play more challenging. Okay. So Grace, I hope our answers or our discussion has been able to help you. You've been able to pick out a thing or two you do to help your 10-year-old manage its time better. Begin with a routine and then gradually fashion him towards taking up responsibilities and
Yes.
following through.
Yes.
Thank you and well done, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on our conversation. Now, the answer to the question, point blank, is yes and no. Play can never be too much where it is beneficial,
Yes.
where it's
productive.
productive, helps
Yes.
that child to develop.
Yes.
Play can be too much where it is useless,
Yes.
where it's
Unproductive.
unchallenging, unproductive, and just wastes the child's
Yes.
time.
Yes.
So this is where, now, before we get to the final point on how we can challenge children, how we can, beneficial play children can indulge in. What are the ways we can stimulate our children to embrace positive play?
Okay.
So what are those things we can do to help children to develop? Like, I know off the top of my head, get them toys
Yes.
of things you want them to learn.
Okay.
A friend once told me, when we discussed siblings rivalry on this show, she called in and said that she tries to get board games that encourage playing as a team. That way they learn to play with each other, and that way they understand better. So what are those things we can, how do we, aside buying toys, what other ways? I think another, I remember taking them outside, outdoor
Yes,
play.
outdoor play.
So outdoor play, getting them toys. Are there other things we can use to stimulate our child's play? As much as play comes naturally to some children, I have seen some children that would rather not play.
Yeah,
They will
true.
just go to one corner and sit
just be
and
there.
observe.
Yes.
I think they are stuck at that onlooker play stage. I think they're stuck there. So how can you motivate this kind of child to embrace the world of play?
Okay, I would say communication. You have to want to communicate with your child. You have to communicate with your child. And you have to get your child to a point where they want to communicate. Yes, a child can be an onlooker, can be comfortable in the onlooker zone of play. But if you're asking questions, open-ended questions,
Thank you.
why are you sitting there? Do you want to come sit by my side? I can see you have your hand open. How many fingers do you have? You can communicate with them and bring them out of that zone of just onlooking, just observing. And gradually they are investigating, they are exploring. Even though they are still in their own space, they want to explore. Why is this phone black? Why is that color white? They are exploring. They want to investigate.
So I think very useful tool is communication.
Yes.
Ask open-ended questions.
Ask as many
Very
questions
brilliant.
as you can ask. Please ask open-ended questions. Let your child want to talk. If they don't even want to talk, at least they want to communicate with you and let you know either how they feel or how they don't feel. Because if you leave a child in the onlooker zone, there are a lot of information that your child will miss and even you will miss. When important communication is supposed to be passed across, or you are supposed to get an important information from your child, because you think being an onlooker is a comfortable zone for your child, They stay there and they're so comfortable, and you won't get information when you need it. Why? Because you're not communicating, your child is not communicating. So yes, a child can want to play in their own space. They want to do more observing than talking or touching things. But they can
Yeah.
communicate. They can say how they feel. They can say what they think. They can explore, they
Yes.
can investigate. So please don't leave your children at the onlooker zone. I know children that are like
Yeah.
that.
And then
Especially,
another thing I think we can also do to encourage these children is to find out their interest.
yes,
Your child may not be interested in what
in
is
what
happening
you're
around
bringing,
them.
yes.
So find out their interest. And you can only discover this when you expose them
When you
more.
expose them more, take them
Yes.
outside,
Take
let them
them
go to the
out.
park, when you know it's safe, and
Yeah.
try to go to places that are safe enough, that has a sane gathering, not too many people. We know what security is like now. So
Yeah.
as much as you can, as much as we're encouraging you to take your child out to play, just be sure that they have a trusted adult with them when they're going out to play, and
Yeah.
whatsoever space that they are going to is somewhere safe
Safe.
enough. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
too.
can see our time is fast ticking,
Oh,
but before we draw the curtain, let us discuss the final point. What are the challenges to free play in our today's world?
wow. Okay. Well, the challenges to free play, there's been an uprising in the pressure of children giving more academic excellence.
Hmm.
Yes, there's been we want children to
Hmm.
be more accountable for their learning. So
Yeah.
we take away play experiences if we want so much academics. It is not wrong to want, so much academics, but the method and technique that is being used to pass across academic knowledge is what matters.
Mhm.
Just like the way I explained to you about learning a syllable, teaching a syllable to a 4 year old.
Yeah.
So yes, I want them to know as much as they
They
can.
can.
I want them to get as much information as I want, but what is the technique that I'm using to pass across that information?
Yeah.
I want them to be smart. I want them to be able to read and be able to, do everything more than what a 4 year old can do. Parents have that drive. They have that
Expectation.
expectation.
It's not bad.
So yeah, it's actually not bad,
But
but I think another thing, parents should try and make the expectation very healthy. So you don't
yeah.
see a 4 year old and you want the child to, how do I say, read,
Read an
one
encyclopedia.
encyclopedia or read a dictionary or pronounce so many
Yeah.
difficult
Complex
words, and
words.
you are not trying to make it easy for them by the techniques that you're using. So yes,
Mm.
they can do it. I've seen children who do very complex things, but
Yeah.
do you know the method the parents use? Do you know the techniques they use? They did not just sit down and picked up the book and read to the child and the child gave it back.
Oh.
So the techniques you can pass on in, academic knowledge, and children can have so much academic knowledge and become so accountable, academically. But what is the method of passing this knowledge that we're giving to the children? So the methods and the techniques is what really really matters. Let us use techniques that will stir up interest in children. So if we want to teach a
Mm.
child about rocks, how do you want the child to understand rocks, and not just understand it from just the
Yeah.
basic, oh, I see a stone and there it looks like a rock? If you want to delve in, you have the sedimentary rocks and all that
Ah.
and all that. A child can actually learn that, but what is the method of teaching that you're using?
Yes.
So yes, there's a lot of pressure, and yes, it's a challenge, and some parents would rather have their children learn academics than play.
Mm.
you know but we can streamline play into, yes, okay, we want to learn about rocks, we're going to go to a museum, we're going to find out about rocks, we're going to go outside and see if we can find the kind of rocks that we saw at the museum, we're going to go on the internet
Yeah.
and google videos, child-friendly
Mm.
videos about rocks. So yes, you can get these children to perform academically sound, but your method and your technique is very crucial.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a
So that is one
huge
challenge.
takeaway.
Another challenge could be technological devices.
Mm.
Okay.
If only
Okay.
they could see my face.
Oh my word. Okay. So the use of so much technological devices can be a challenge to play experiences for children. So except the technological awareness you're giving them includes digital literacy, then it will be a challenge. Too much playing games on the iPad is unhealthy. you know. So if we can take out, let's do more of structuring routines. Okay, you do this, then we'll play on your iPad for so and so time, and on so and
Yeah.
so days, I'm sorry you can't have your iPad, I'm sorry you can't watch the TV. It's a lot of work. Sometimes parents just want to, you know what, watch TV, let me
So I
rest.
can have a breathing space.
Let me just take a break. You know what, go ahead and
Mm.
watch it. Yes, there are those moments, but let us not become so accustomed to it that, you know, the children will rely on these measures to get play experiences.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, my note is full. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Joy. It's
Thank you.
been a most enlightening session with
I
you.
enjoyed it
And I am
absolutely.
certain that our listeners at home, even those who didn't call in, have benefited from this. And I'm happy that we had this today.
Yes,
So thank you so much for coming around. And
Thank
we hope
you.
to see you someday, as one of our callers requested. She
No
would like to
problem.
hear you say something about the bigger kids, though you
Yes.
actually touched on it when you were answering Miss Grace's
Yes,
question.
yes.
So thank you very much,
Thank
parents.
you.
Today we have learned that we should let our children play. Okay, we should challenge them in their play.
Yeah.
We should try to let them have free play as much as possible, and then we should always focus on making play productive for them, because that's the best way they can learn. How about I leave you with this quote by Diane Ankerman? He said, "Play is our brain's favorite way of learning." It's our brain's favorite. So there are many ways of learning, but
Yes.
the brain's favorite way of learning is play. So try to, what's that concept your child is finding hard to learn? Why not introduce play to it? Spice it up with some play and you see them bloom. Okay? So final words from our guest here in the studio.
Please encourage your children to play, and like our host said, please encourage them to do more productive play. If you're not sure, find out, ask open-ended questions, communicate as much as you can with your children. You can never underestimate the power of communication. So as much as you can, communicate with them, know their interests, what would they prefer to another, or and so on. You know, so I don't mind coming here some other time. I thoroughly
Thank
enjoyed
you.
myself. So thank you so
So-
much for having me.
Thank you so much. To catch up on Miss Joy and her world of knowledge and resources, you can find her on Instagram on Coco Resources, Co2 Resources, CO2 Resources.
Yeah.
There you can see what she's doing with play and how she's helping children become the best they can through play. So this is where we draw the curtain today. Thanks for listening through. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your contribution. I am happy that it was beneficial to you. And this is us wishing you a beautiful week ahead.
Yes.
Happy celebration today. Tomorrow
Democracy.
is Democracy Day.
Today.
So today, so we
Yes.
are marking it tomorrow. So
Tomorrow, yes.
enjoy your public holiday tomorrow. And do not forget that I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.